95,000 photos. One signed photograph. Bill Clinton's signature on an image with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's convicted sex trafficking co-conspirator. What House Democrats released on December 13, 2025 wasn't just evidence. It was Clinton's own handwriting proving he'd lied about barely knowing Epstein for years. But the signature wasn't the most damaging part. The body language was. December 13, 2025, 10:09 a.m. House Oversight Committee. Democrats pressed publish on nearly 100,000 photographs from Jeffrey Epstein's estate. Images that powerful men had spent years trying to keep buried. Among those 95,000 photos, one image would destroy Bill Clinton's carefully constructed narrative forever. The photograph showed Clinton standing with Epstein and Maxwell, smiling broadly. Clinton's arm casually draped in a comfortable pose. The body language screaming friendship, not the distant acquaintance Clinton had always claimed. And across the bottom of the photo, Bill Clinton's signature. An autograph. You don't sign photos for people you barely know. But here's what made this release devastating. The timing. Just 3 days earlier, Chairman James Comer had sent Clinton a final ultimatum. Testify under oath on January 13th or face contempt of Congress charges. Clinton had dodged depositions for 4 months. Now, 72 hours before his contempt deadline, Democrats released photographic proof that every public statement Clinton had made about Epstein was systematic deception. The signature transformed everything. For years, Clinton could claim exaggerated allegations. But you can't deny your own handwriting. The autograph proved Clinton valued this relationship enough to memorialize it. That single signature contradicted years of minimal contact claims. Within minutes of the 10:09 a.m. release, hashtag Clinton signed photo was trending worldwide. The photo package included 19 carefully selected images. Donald Trump with women at Mar-a-Lago, Steve Bannon's mirror selfie with Epstein, Bill Gates with Prince Andrew, Woody Allen in a director's chair beside Epstein. But Clinton's signed photo immediately dominated coverage. Representative Robert Garcia, ranking Democrat on House Oversight, had crafted the release with surgical precision. These disturbing photos raise even more questions about Epstein and his relationships with some of the most powerful men in the world. We will not rest until the American people get the truth. Former federal prosecutor Renato Mariotti explained on CNN, "This photograph is devastating for Clinton's legal position. You don't sign photographs for people you barely know. This signature is evidence of a relationship Clinton has systematically lied about." At 11:47 a.m., Angel Urania, Clinton's spokesperson, issued a statement that immediately became subject to mockery. President Clinton attended many public events where photography was common. He does not recall this specific photo or signing it. As has been previously stated, President Clinton had limited contact with Mr. Epstein. The response was classic non-denial denial, not claiming the signature was forged, but suggesting Clinton couldn't remember autographing a photo with a man who ran an international sex trafficking operation. CNN's Jeffrey Toobin called it legally careful but politically catastrophic. But the statement raised more questions than answers. If Clinton didn't remember signing the photo, why not? How many photos had he signed with Epstein? How close were they that autographing photos together was forgettable? Body language expert Dr. Lillian Glass analyzed the image on Fox News. This is not the body language of a casual acquaintance. Clinton is standing comfortably close to both Epstein and Maxwell. His shoulders are relaxed. His smile is genuine, reaching his eyes, which indicates real positive emotion. The physical spacing between the three suggests comfort and familiarity. She continued, "When people take photos with someone they barely know, there's more physical distance. The smile is more formal, the posture more rigid. This photo shows none of that. This is friendship body language." The inclusion of Ghislaine Maxwell made the photo exponentially more damaging. Maxwell had been convicted in December 2021 of sex trafficking minors for Epstein. She was serving 20 years in federal prison. Clinton appearing in a signed photo with both Epstein and his convicted co-conspirator raised impossible questions his spokesman couldn't answer. At 3:17 p.m., 7 hours after the initial release, House Democrats dropped 70 additional photos. Several showed more Clinton images in various social settings with Epstein. One particularly damaging photo captured Clinton mid-laugh at what appeared to be a private dinner party with Epstein and unidentified individuals. The casual intimacy of the setting further destroyed claims of minimal contact. Representative Garcia explained, "We're releasing photos in batches so the American people can fully process each set. These represent decades of relationships that powerful men have tried to minimize or deny." The batch release strategy was deliberate. Each wave of photos generated new news cycles, keeping the scandal in headlines. More importantly, each batch made it harder for Clinton to claim the signed photo was an isolated incident. The signed photo created immediate legal catastrophe for Clinton's January 13th deposition. David Kendall, Clinton's attorney, now faced an impossible dilemma. If Clinton testified under oath and repeated claims of minimal contact, prosecutors could present the signed photo as perjury evidence. The signature proved a relationship significant enough for autographs, directly contradicting public statements. Former U.S. Attorney Harry Litman explained the trap on MSNBC. "This is prior inconsistent statements. Clinton told the public one story, barely knew Epstein. This photo tells a different story. Under oath, if he repeats the minimizing version, he's potentially committing perjury. But if he admits to a closer relationship, he has to explain years of lying." The timing was devastating. Clinton had exactly 3 days to decide: testify and risk perjury, or refuse and face contempt charges. Within 6 hours, #Clinton signed photo had been tweeted over 2 million times. Journalist Glenn Greenwald's tweet received 500,000 likes. Bill Clinton signed a photo with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. "You know who I don't have signed photos with? People I barely know." This is what elite corruption looks like: lying while the evidence has your signature on it. Even Democratic supporters expressed disappointment. Pod Save America host Jon Favreau tweeted, "I defended Clinton for years on Epstein questions, but this signed photo is really hard to explain away." He owes the public a real accounting. Conservative commentator Megyn Kelly, who had confronted Clinton about flight logs in 2016, posted, "In 2016, I showed Clinton FAA records of 26 flights. He claimed minimal contact. Now we have his signed photo. How many more lies?" Court filings from Epstein estate litigation revealed that in 2023, attorneys for multiple high-profile individuals had filed sealed motions arguing the photos should remain private. While names were redacted, timing suggested Clinton was likely among those fighting the release. Representative Matt Gaetz seized on this. Bill Clinton apparently fought in court to keep these photos secret. Why spend money hiding pictures if the relationship was innocent? This is consciousness of guilt. He knew these photos would destroy his lies. The bitter irony was devastating. Clinton had spent years claiming the Epstein relationship was insignificant, but his apparent legal efforts to keep photos private proved he knew they were damaging enough to justify expensive litigation. As December progressed, pressure mounted from all sides. Democrats urged Clinton to testify. Republicans demanded answers. Legal experts debated whether he could navigate the perjury trap. On December 18th, 5 days after the photo release, Kendall sent a letter confirming Clinton would appear on January 13th. But the letter included a crucial caveat. Clinton would invoke his Fifth Amendment privilege in response to questions related to his social interactions with Jeffrey Epstein. The decision meant Clinton would appear to avoid contempt, but would refuse to answer substantive questions. He would take the Fifth, rather than explain why he'd autographed a photo with a sex trafficker while claiming to barely know him. The photo release occurred as multiple Epstein investigations converged. The House Oversight Inquiry was one front. The DOJ had its own investigation into Epstein's co-conspirators. The Southern District of New York was pursuing charges against facilitators of his trafficking operation. The signed Clinton photo became relevant to all investigations. Federal prosecutors noted that if Clinton had knowledge of Epstein's activities, or should have had knowledge based on their relationship's extent, it could implicate him in charges ranging from obstruction to conspiracy. On December 15th, Attorney General Pam Bondi announced the DOJ would review all newly released materials to determine whether additional prosecutions are warranted. The timing wasn't coincidental. The photo release reverberated internationally, particularly in the UK, where Prince Andrew appeared in several images. British tabloids ran front-page stories with split images. Clinton's signed photo beside Prince Andrew with Epstein. The Daily Mail's headline, "The Signature That Proves Clinton Lied. Ex-President's Autograph Destroys Years of Denial." The Guardian's analysis, Clinton photo raises questions about what powerful men knew. International legal experts noted the photos could trigger investigations in multiple countries if evidence emerged of knowledge about Epstein's international trafficking. Clinton's decision to invoke the Fifth created its own scandal. While constitutionally protected, taking the Fifth carries enormous political stigma. "Clinton takes Fifth on Epstein questions" became the headline that would define his legacy. Legal analysts noted the impossible position. If Clinton answered questions, the signed photo made perjury likely. If he refused to appear, contempt charges would follow. If he appeared but took the Fifth, the political damage would be catastrophic. Representative Jamie Raskin, top Democrat on House Judiciary, publicly urged Clinton to testify. President Clinton should answer these questions under oath. If he has nothing to hide, he should explain these photographs. But Clinton's legal team had concluded there was no safe path. The signed photo had made every option devastating. December 13, 2025, changed the Epstein narrative permanently. Before that date, Clinton could claim exaggerated allegations. After that date, his signature proved he'd valued the relationship enough to autograph photos. By late December, 3 more individuals photographed with Epstein had been subpoenaed. The signed Clinton photo had opened floodgates of accountability that powerful people had spent years trying to keep closed. Historians noted the parallel to Donald Trump's signed photos with Epstein. Both images served as irrefutable proof that powerful men had maintained relationships they later tried to deny. Both signatures became evidence that couldn't be explained away. The broader implication was more troubling. If men as powerful as a former president felt comfortable signing photos with Epstein, what did that say about warning signs that must have been present? How many in Epstein's orbit knew or suspected his crimes, but maintained relationships anyway? Sometimes the cover-up is worse than the crime, but sometimes the cover-up is just a signature on a photo you hoped would never surface. 1 autograph. 3 people smiling. Years of carefully constructed denials destroyed by the stroke of a pen. What happens when your own handwriting becomes evidence you can't explain? Bill Clinton learned the answer on December 13th, when 95,000 photos made one signature impossible to ignore. January 13th, 2026 is coming. Clinton will sit for his deposition. And 73 times he'll invoke the Fifth Amendment rather than explain that signature, because some truths are too damaging to speak under oath. If this story revealed how one photograph can destroy years of denial, like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell. The deposition is 3 weeks away, and every question will come back to that signature. What would you ask Clinton about this photo? Drop your answer below.